Someone crosses you, underestimates you, and thinks they've won. But little do they know, you're not one to forget. You're just patient, and when a Sigma male takes revenge, it's a masterpiece. Have you ever wondered what happens when a Sigma male decides it's time for payback? No yelling, no drama, just cold, calculated, and poetic justice. There once was a man named Ethan, a lone wolf who played by his own rules, a corporate world outsider, always underestimated, always silent, until one day his so-called team took credit for his work and threw him under the bus. They laughed. They celebrated. Ethan, he just nodded and walked away. Months later, those same people found themselves in the dust. Ethan had outsmarted, outplayed, and outmaneuvered them. They never saw it coming. That's how a Sigma male takes revenge. It's never loud. It's never obvious. But when it happens, it's legendary. Want to know how a Sigma executes his revenge like a silent assassin? Stick around because today we're breaking down 5 things that happen when a Sigma male takes revenge. By the end of this video, you'll not only understand the Sigma mindset, but also learn the art of rising above betrayal and playing the long game like a true Sigma warrior. So, Sigmas, let's dive in. 1. He doesn't react immediately, he observes. Unlike the average person who reacts impulsively when provoked, Sigma males understand that true power lies in restraint. They don't explode in anger, nor do they engage in meaningless confrontations. Instead, their revenge begins with silence, an unsettling, calculated stillness that confuses their opponents. While others waste energy in emotional outbursts, a Sigma male observes. He watches closely, taking note of every flaw, every insecurity, and every predictable move his adversary makes. What seems like passive acceptance is actually strategic patience. The enemy, thinking they've won, lets their guard down. But in reality, they've only made it easier for the Sigma to dismantle them when the time is right. The art of subduing without fighting. Sun Tzu's wisdom. The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. Perfectly aligns with the Sigma male's approach. They don't seek revenge in conventional ways. Instead, they let their adversaries reveal their own weaknesses while they remain invisible. This psychological warfare is more powerful than any direct confrontation. Think of it like a game of chess. While most people react to an opponent's move with knee-jerk decisions, Sigmas think 5 moves ahead. They set up a series of quiet, deliberate actions that ultimately leave their enemies powerless. This might manifest in various ways. Silence as a weapon. Instead of arguing, a Sigma withdraws, making the enemy feel uncertain and insignificant. Mastering detachment. He refuses to give his opponents the satisfaction of a reaction, frustrating them even more. Success as revenge. He outgrows the situation entirely, making his enemies realize they were never a real threat to begin with. The invisible force that wins every time. What makes Sigma males so dangerous in conflict is their ability to strike without appearing to strike at all. They don't need to engage in public battles or prove themselves in heated arguments. They let time, intelligence, and precision do the work. By the time their enemies realize what's happening, it's already too late. The Sigma has already won, not with fists, not with words, but with silence, strategy, and an unshakable mind, too. He uses success as his weapon. A Sigma male doesn't waste time on petty revenge because he understands a fundamental truth. The best revenge is massive success. While others waste energy plotting against those who wronged them, a Sigma refocuses his time, mind, and willpower on becoming so accomplished, so unshakable, that his doubters fade into irrelevance. Think about it. Why waste time proving yourself to people who never believed in you when you can surpass them so completely that their opinions become meaningless? A Sigma male doesn't chase validation. He doesn't need applause or recognition from those who once doubted him. Instead, he lets his growth, wealth, skills, and influence deliver the final blow, turning setbacks into fuel for growth. History is filled with figures who embody the Sigma mindset. Elon Musk was told he'd fail in the electric car industry. Jeff Bezos was mocked for his vision of an online bookstore. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. What did they do? They didn't get even. They got better. They channeled their frustration into discipline, perfected their craft, and built something so powerful that their doubters became irrelevant. And then there's Ethan. You know, the type underestimated, overlooked, dismissed. His so-called friends doubted him, his colleagues laughed at his ambition, and his family questioned his choices. But instead of engaging in arguments, instead of trying to convince them of his worth, Ethan went silent and started building. He worked in the shadows, honing his skills, expanding his network, and creating something monumental. Years later, while his former rivals were still stuck in mediocrity, Ethan had built an empire. Now, they weren't laughing anymore. They weren't even in the same league. That's the Sigma way. It's not about winning petty battles. It's about rising so high that the battlefield becomes irrelevant. The doubters, they become mere spectators, forced to watch as the man they dismissed becomes untouchable. The final blow, indifference. Here's the irony. By the time you've won, you won't even care anymore. The people who doubted you won't matter. Their words, their insults, their opinions, they'll be nothing but white noise in the background of your success. And that's what makes a Sigma male truly powerful. Not only does he win, but he wins without seeking revenge. So the next time someone underestimates you, don't argue. Don't seek revenge. Just disappear, build, and return as an unstoppable force. That's how a Sigma male operates. 3. He dismantles his enemies without them realizing. When a Sigma male decides to strike, he does so with the precision of a master chess player, silent, strategic, and devastatingly effective. Unlike the Alpha, who thrives on dominance and public displays of power, or the Beta, who often conforms to social expectations, the Sigma operates in the shadows, observing, calculating, and waiting for the perfect moment to act. And when that moment comes, it's not just an attack. It's a complete dismantling of his opponent's position, executed so smoothly that by the time they realize what's happening, the game is already over. The art of exposure. One of the Sigma's most powerful weapons is his ability to expose deception. He doesn't engage in emotional battles or loud confrontations. Instead, he lets the truth speak for itself. He watches as people weave their own lies, collects the necessary information, and when the time is right, he pulls the thread that unravels the entire illusion. The manipulator, who thought they had the upper hand, suddenly finds themselves outed with no way to recover. It's not about vengeance. It's about setting the record straight without unnecessary drama, flipping the power dynamics. Sigmas understand power at a fundamental level. While others rely on hierarchy and influence, the Sigma subverts these systems without openly challenging them. He doesn't fight for control. He redirects it. If someone tries to assert dominance over him, he remains indifferent, making them question their own influence. If a corrupt leader is calling the shots, the Sigma subtly shifts alliances, offering just enough insight to dismantle their authority. The beauty of his approach is that it appears almost effortless. He never directly opposes. He simply moves the pieces in a way that renders his opposition powerless, removing obstacles without a scene. When a Sigma sees an obstacle in his path, he doesn't waste energy confronting it head-on. Instead, he finds ways to make it irrelevant. If someone is trying to sabotage him, he exposes their tactics in a way that makes others lose trust in them. If an environment becomes toxic, he quietly detaches, making those who relied on his presence feel the void he leaves behind. His approach is cold but calculated. He doesn't seek revenge. He simply eliminates threats with surgical precision. The brutal reality. Imagine believing you're in control, only to realize you were just a pawn in Sigma's long game. By the time realization sets in, there's nothing left to do but watch as the world shifts around you. Brutal? Absolutely, but necessary. Because in a world full of deception, power struggles, and empty dominance displays, the Sigma male is the quiet force that resets the balance, with or without anyone's permission. 4. He never lets emotions cloud his judgment. A Sigma male is a master of emotional discipline. While others explode in fits of rage or seek immediate retaliation, he remains cold, calculating, and in control. His approach to conflict isn't about reacting, it's about strategizing. He understands that anger is a fleeting emotion, but consequences last forever. Unlike impulsive individuals who let fury cloud their judgment, the Sigma male embraces logic over emotion. He knows that losing control means handing power over to the very person who provoked him. Instead, he plays the long game. Every response is measured, and every decision is intentional. He's not interested in petty disputes. He's focused on the bigger picture. For a Sigma, revenge isn't about ego or proving a point. It's about securing a strategic advantage. If someone wrongs him, he doesn't waste time plotting childish retaliation. Instead, he uses that energy to level up, to ensure that success itself becomes the ultimate payback. He turns adversity into motivation, setbacks into stepping stones. This emotional mastery is what makes a Sigma unpredictable and dangerous to those who underestimate him. While others are busy acting on impulse, he's already 5 steps ahead, quietly orchestrating his next move. In the end, it's not about winning a battle, it's about winning the war. By controlling his emotions, the Sigma male controls the entire game. While others are busy reacting, he remains in control of the narrative, proving once again why he stands apart from the rest. 5. He moves on, but never forgets. The final step of a Sigma male's revenge, moving forward like a shadow that no longer lingers in the past. Once he has set things right, whether through success, strategic action, or simply proving his worth, he doesn't waste another second looking back. That's because a Sigma understands a universal truth. Dwelling on revenge is just another form of attachment. And attachment, that's a weakness he refuses to entertain. While others stew in bitterness, replaying past betrayals in their minds, a Sigma channels every ounce of that energy into growth. He doesn't just move on, he ascends. His focus is on building, evolving, and cementing his place in the world. And in doing so, he leaves those who wronged him trapped in the very past they tried to use against him. They become prisoners of their own envy, watching as he rises beyond their grasp. This is why the Sigma's form of revenge is the most devastating. It's not fueled by rage or pettiness. It's fueled by purpose. His enemies expect retaliation, conflict, or even self-destruction. What they don't expect, that he simply doesn't care. Their actions don't define his trajectory. Instead, they become irrelevant. And there is no punishment more crushing than irrelevance. In the end, the Sigma's ultimate power move isn't about proving a point. It's about proving himself right. Not by sinking to the level of his enemies, but by soaring so high they become nothing more than a forgotten footnote in his story. And that, Sigmas, is how you truly win. Sigmas, now you know, the revenge of a Sigma male isn't loud, messy, or emotional. It's cold, strategic, and unforgettable. If you've ever been wronged, remember, you don't need to fight battles with words. Just let your actions rewrite the story. If you found value in this video, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button. Join this community of Sigmas and apply these principles to your life for unstoppable growth and impact. Having said this,